Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Okay legends, welcome back to the channel, and this time we're gonna go through the event of the Banquet Kami and check the boss that we're fighting, which is Blanka. Absolutely a good boss to fight. Actually, he doesn't allow or have a lot of threat to your teams. You can survive a little bit easier than the other bosses. We're gonna go and look at it. I didn't play continuously the previous bosses. I think Yan and Yang were there. I think I ranked in the top 50. I forgot where. Yeah, I was autoing actually, and all of that was auto. I just manual the first team and I autoed everything else, and it gave me good results. So I have a little bit of understanding how the teams goes. Now this is my battle list. This is how I'm going with my battle list. I'll be showing my team and I will show you different kind of teams as free to play, accessible, that you can use and you can go and do high numbers. Now of course this is my 3. Everything at 1 except this one at 3. This is the most important node because this will allow you to accumulate attack all over, and it will help you with flame add-on, so don't forget about that. Now other than that, because I had more points, I need to reset this because I need to put 4 points on the burn and on the thunder, because this is the most important one for me, because it's allowing me for the shock, it allows me for the bleed for Visconde Vega, and it allows me for the flame for flame add-on. So I'll reset it, but I'm a little bit lazy. This is why I didn't reset it. I would probably take 1 point from here, and I would take 1 point from somewhere else that I put 2 points on. Maybe this one. This one is damage bonus and damage reduction, so I took it for 3. It's really helpful. And I took this damage bonus, crit resist. I will take maybe 1 point from this one and 1 point from this one and put the 4 points here. And this will help me and allow me to actually deal more damage. And I will survive by my team because I will show you the teams and the lineups that I'm using. So let's go and check the teams. So as you see, I've did a couple of runs and I tested multiple teams to check the scores. So I did it 4 times, and 4 out of these times it landed me in the top 5 so far, which is absolutely fantastic. Now I'll show by the end of the video the top teams, which are the pay-to-win teams, but I'll be showing the free-to-play teams, especially me and the Islam Santos. We're close to the same numbers. He invested in different units. I invested in different units. He had Overlord Bison. I have Visconde Vega. So we're gonna go and check how are the damages for bossing for these 2 units, especially that we have Blanka. Blanka now, it's a boss that accumulates electrified. So he gets passively electrified, and I used my Zangief as always to mitigate these damage. Does Islam use Zangief in anywhere? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't use him. So these are my teams so far. So what I've done is, now you need here 1 copy or 2 copies or whatever build you built. Rich Honda, you need him on the lineup as always. But of course, I built him to double S plus, I think, and I need 3 more copies or 4 more copies to make him to triple S and get all of his cards, and then my damage numbers will increase a lot. Now I have Zangief on this team because his C2 will nullify the passives of Blanka. This is why my team survives a lot, and I'm using actually the Virgil EX move to keep surviving. Now you'll tell me, why are you using this the burn? Let me check what's the name of it actually here. It's the Lotus Flame. The Crimson Lotus Flame, it's absolutely good. I'll be talking about why, especially because I have it at 5 stars. So additionally increase the flame damage dealt by friendly fighters by 12% for 6 seconds. It means by the accumulation of the 3rd rotation or 4th rotation, I drop it. My Fire Add-on does insane amount of damage. This is why it will allow me to get high numbers and deal a lot of numbers. Now, of course, you can use whatever you want. I'm using Kami and Vega to start the battle, so I accumulate the wall under the boss. And after a few minutes or a few seconds have gone, 10 seconds, the wall will start dealing damage to the boss, which is really good. It will give me a free combo meter. So this is why I'm using that. My second team, and I'm using Visconde Vega team. Now, of course, if you have Evil Ryu, he's a better option to use him instead of Gormagala Ken because his damage buff is consistent. Gormagala Ken gives you that for 15 seconds and then it depletes. Then he gives you back it, but it's almost non-consistent. We need to wait for him to trigger it. Now, I'm using Gen just for adding Gen because he have high stats, so he can give me high stats. You can actually replace Gen and add anybody you want. I would highly recommend putting Honda. Honda with his +5 is absolutely amazing for survivability because if he's an assist, 8% of the damage dealt to allied fighters, not fighter, is transformed to E Honda. So 8% of the damage you're taking will be transferred to him. And there's another unit that I'm using, which is Balrog as well. If you're gonna go and check Balrog, of course, it's only for a single unit. So 10% of the damage, you will give damage reduction to the unit that is taking damage. And every time you drop 1% of HP, you get a 0% in damage reduction, which is absolutely fantastic. Damage reduction is a main key in these lineups. So I'm using Gen. I'll keep Gen just to show you that because of the stats, it gives me more attack on my Gen, so his curse will deal more damage, and he will deal more damage by his trigger skills. In this battle, I start with Visconti Vega, Elena, Abel, then Visconti Vega. Abel will give me the shields, plus he will heal the team. Visconti Vega, he loses a lot of HP. This is why I'm putting Evil Ryu or Mad Ryu on top of him. Evil Ryu is a good option as an assist, but if you have him built out, use him on the lineup instead of Gormagala Ken, and give him Witch Jury if you want, or somebody else. Now I'm using Witch Jury as an assist on my Fire Aidon. I can remove that and I can replace it with somebody else. Maybe I would put Mayor Cody or anybody else. Dawson maybe on top of him will be also good. But because I'm going with this synergy, I want my Visconti Vega to go low on health and get more attack buff from Ryu, so I can deal more damage. And you need to time a little bit your Elena so she would not die, because sometimes you drop the C1, she jumps into the ultimate of the enemy, and she will get all the shock and she might die because she's in attack position, she have lower stats. This is why I'm using her. Plus, the other thing that why I'm using her, if we put any other unit here, let's say I put this, you see, no numbers changed. But if I put Elena, bam, the numbers will change for Visconti Vega. He will get more defense and he will get more HP because she buffs the highest teammate with attack. This is her passive. So if you're gonna go and read her passive, this is why he's surviving a lot. Visconti Vega on my lineup, because this lineup is very squishy. Visconti Vega is a squishy unit because he drops low on HP. Any hit could kill him. So she would give him at the start of the battle, increasing the HP of the allied fighter with the highest attack by 20%, and then it increases the defense by 30%. So max HP by 30% and defense by 30%, which allow him to survive a lot. And this team is really good. This is why I'm using all heals. So I'm using the drones. I drop them from the start of the battle, so I accumulate more combo meter with them. Plus, whenever I feel that the enemy is hitting me and I'm getting low, I drop the Crazy Potato, which is really good. It will heal, it will give me defensive buffing because it's at 3 stars. Then in the end, if I feel like I'm at the point that the team is dying or anybody is dying, I drop the Nature Advent, which is the Sakura Heal, the Sakura Rain, and she will heal all the team. Now the third team, and this is not the most consistent team that I have. Now this team, you could completely change it and play something else. But so far it's working nice for me, especially with the buffs of Dan. Dan with his buffing, again, for people who doesn't know what Dan does, because we did a skill on him and you can go check my videos. His passive is absolutely fantastic. He taunts the enemy when he uses his C1, which is really good. And again, he will do damage reduction plus a damage bonus plus crit damage plus recovery rate once at a time. So he will not give you all of that at the start of the or when you click his skills. He will give you one of this, and with the second rotation he will give you another one, not similar to the previous one, and then it rinse and repeat. So he will give you more damage bonus, crit damage, and damage reduction, and this is so helpful. And recovery rate, which will allow my Summer Elena to drop in and heal everybody. Now my Summer Elena at SS, of course you can build her to that point, and I got her to plus 30. So upon triggering Power Dance, increase the damage of all allies by 10% until the battle ends, stacks up to 5 times. It means 50% attack bonus or damage bonus for all my lineups. She's a battery, Chun-Li, I'm using her as a battery. I put Abel on her to survive a little bit more because her shields, the shield of Abel can allow her to soak at least one hit of Blanca's, and then it will allow her to survive even more. Now I'm using Dawson because he have high stats. If we check how much stats does he have, he will give me almost 50,000 attack on my Akuma, which is really good. Akuma is the one clearing everything for me. Now if you don't have Akuma, you can use Oni, you can use anybody else, which will help you a lot. If you build Seth will be absolutely fantastic as well here because he survive a lot and go to the back line, so he will be absolutely away from the damage of Blanca. Again, there's a lot of lineups and variations that you can use. As free to play that I started the game and we had Akuma at the start, I used him and this is why I built him. Dan is absolutely phenomenal for bossing. Actually, he proved us to have great numbers. Now, what's the alternative team that I would use here? Of course, I would use Fashion Blanca if you want instead of him, and I can use a Dalsim instead of him, and then you will have a team similar to the team that we play always. You can play this team. You can start with Fashion Blanca, C1 from him, C2 from him, or C2 from Fashion Blanca, and wait a little bit, and then you can start with Dalsim. You can use his C1 or his C2, it doesn't matter, or C1 from Fashion Blanca or C2 also, it doesn't matter, and then C3 from Dalsim, and you will accumulate damage. But the problem is that this time this lineup is so squishy, and Dalsim is so squishy as well. You can keep on him if you want Abel, but you need to buff him with somebody with attack, so he will deal even more damage. So this is your alternative team. Another alternative team is playing Guile. Guile with the same lineup if you want to play him. This lineup also works. You can put Abel at this point if you want, and you can put Chun-Li on top of him, and Chun-Li will give him more crit rate. So you start with him, C1 from him, C2 from him, and then C3 from him. Or you can play him as well like this. So you can play Super from Guile, C1 from Abel, C2 from Dan, and C3 from Guile as well. It will deal damage, but it's not the best lineup. This lineup doesn't work consistently because it's not an AoE, and he does damage to a single target, and the combo meter is not that helpful with this scenario. But these are the lineups that you can use. Now, my fourth team, which is the Viper team. Now, of course, you can change many things here. You can put Gormagala Evil Ryu instead of Bison, or Bison if you have one copy of him also helps. But Bison, because you built him, he will buff your team if you get him to plus 30 and he has the 6 out of 6, and he will explode always and deal a little bit of damage, and always Blanca will get him low in HP, so he will explode and explode. Plus Viper will give you the shields, so she would protect the whole team, and then you will survive and deal even more damage. I'm using Mayor Cody on her. I should use something else, I mean something more protective. I can swap this and I can use Balrog on her and she won't die immediately. I will show you in the replay. She's the first one to die on the team, and Rose will survive by the end of the battle. If you can manage to keep surviving with Viper, that would be absolutely awesome. I'm using everything buffing as an attack for this lineup, which is really great actually. Now on this lineup that I was talking, if you want to use Akuma and use Chun-Li on the same lineup, try to play somebody that gives you armor break like Cammy. Then Chun-Li will deal a lot of damage actually. So let's do this. And who did we have? Dan, I think, and he's Dan. You can play it this way, or you can play it this way, or this way. It doesn't matter. But the problem is that Cammy does only with trigger, and Akuma triggers absolutely like 3 times in the whole battle, in the whole fight. So you need to play her here. This is why it doesn't accumulate if you don't put anybody on him. So you can play anybody on him, but you will miss the saving on Chun-Li. So Chun-Li will be vulnerable a little bit. She needs a little bit of stats to survive actually. She's the first one to die on the lineup. The fourth team, as we said, Viper, if you manage to keep her alive, she will absolutely do insane. Now you can hear if you build Athlete Chun-Li, and this is so important, Athlete Chun-Li will help you a lot. Now of course, if you have her at plus 30, Diviner Rose will help you with the crit damage, so you will deal even more damage. But the problem is that you don't get other things than that, so you don't get the survivability. The heal is not important as much as the shields are important. This is why I'm playing Summer Yang. Now of course you can play something else as well, where she will mitigate the damages that you take a little bit. Forget about the ranged attacks. There's no range attack from the boss, but she would mitigate a little bit of damage and buff you with damage, and she will deal damage if you have her at 6 out of 6, and it will be really awesome. Now another unit that I would highly recommend to use here, which is none other than Hugo. The Wrestling Hugo is absolutely amazing with his buffing with his C1. You can use him here as well, but again, you need to protect him more and more. But if you can pull it off, if you can manage this team to keep it alive, you will deal a lot of damage actually, as much as I think Visconti's Vega's damage on his lineup. But so far this lineup worked for me and I'm playing it fine. I did only 4 runs as you see, and it was pretty successful. So what Islam Santos is using, I'll be talking about it really quick. So Islam Santos is using the same team, but he's using Abel. No, he's using Suit Abel here. He can use Zangief if he wants. He can maybe ramp up his damages, but for healing and shielding as well, he's using him here. My lineup is surviving because of the negation of Electrify from Zangief, which is really good. He's using the turtles. As you see, what he's using, one copy of Leonardo. This is how OP Leonardo is, and look at his damages. Raphael with full investment is not dealing the same damage as Leonardo at 1 copy. This is why Leonardo is great. Now I have Leonardo at double S and he's plus 30, so I can deal the same amount of damage, a little bit maybe more if I play the same lineup. Raphael is absolutely Donatello is absolutely fantastic with the buffs, and we have here Taoist Gen. Now of course you can replace Taoist Gen if you'd like with somebody like Guy. Guy will work perfectly. He used him in the previous lineup, I think in the previous boss, which was really fantastic. And here he's having Overlord Bison instead of having Vega. Now this is a great lineup. I think Athlete Chun-Li is dealing good, 14 million, which is really good, not bad. Normal Bison and Overlord Bison is dealing all the damage. Now of course Visconti Vega works better on bossing a little bit with different team comps. Overlord Bison can do the same amount of damage as Visconti Vega if you put him with the same lineup that I use with Visconti Vega. So whatever unit or hero you build, you can put them on different lineups. Just keep in mind that you need buffers, and he's using Michelangelo. As I said, Michelangelo is a beast. He almost never dies. And in the last lineup, he's doing almost similar team that I'm using. I'm using Bison for the buffs. He's using Psychodan. As you see, Psychodan is always impossibly important for the lineups. Super important. Don't downplay his potential. He's super important with his buffing, with his survivability. The guy is absolutely ridiculous. This is why he's top tier in bossing. Many people were talking, I saw it on Discord, many people made videos talking about how bad he is and they didn't feel that he's good. No, he is good. If you don't see it, it doesn't mean he's not good. Okay, let's go and check the replay of my fights, and hopefully I will make it at X4. The rotations are similar. I'm having the EX of Kami and Vega, so this is why I start with Fire Adon for the first rotation. My entire rotation is Rich Honda, Street Poison, Zangief, then Fire Adon. The second one, it's Vega, Elena, Suit Able, then Vega. That's it. And my Akuma is Akuma, Psychodan, Akuma, then Chun-Li. And the last one is Viper, Summer Yang, Rose, and then Viper, and that's it. That's the whole lineup. So let's go and check. And you see, my small teams, other than the biggest team, my small teams are dealing damages as Slam Santos, I think. More, similar or more similar. I guess it's similar. Yeah, almost similar. He's doing more. So it's these teams, these three teams that I have here. If you have them, play them. If you don't have Visconti Vega, you can play them with Oni if you build Oni, or with Overlord Bison if you build him. But this lineup on top is absolutely fantastic. Use it. It's perfect actually for this lineup, or you can use the version that Slam Santos is using, one of the best players in the game. So let's go and check the teams actually and check the replays. I'll keep it at ×4 so you check how much damage it does, and when I drop the EX moves, I will, on the third rotation, I'll make it at X1, so you check how I saved my Rich Honda from dying, actually, on the third rotation by the EX of Virgil. And as you see, I save my my flame, my Quaking Flame, until the end, so I can hit the highest damage with the stacking of the Firewall on top of the boss. So here, it's the third rotation. I use the Quaking Flame with Fire Adon when he's hitting his C3. Then I continue. And here's X1. Now I know that my team will die after this, so I used it to save my team, as you see here. And look at Rich Honda. He should die, but he didn't die because I kept surviving. Why my Flame Adon is surviving? Because I have Witch Jury on him. This is why he kept dealing damage and surviving. As you see, everybody dies except these two. Zangief is a monster. He hits with his C2 and he heals himself. Look at his HP, how it goes back to full HP with his C2. This is why he survived and we deal so much damage. The second team, absolutely the same rotation that I said. Visconti Vega is all over. I need only supports and healing, so I'm playing double healers and one is the shielder, which is Suit Able. So I start with him, Summer Elena, or Elena, then him, then Suit Able, then Visconti Vega. Plus, I'm using all the heals as buffs as possible. Now, of course, you can use attack buffs, but the heals are amazing for him to survive. On top of that, I'm getting the buffs from Gormagala Ken, yes. If you have Evil Ryu will be absolutely fantastic here and drops the combo meter for the boss. So it means you'll have a free rotation, or 2 free rotations without even getting hit. And here, everybody died on my lineup, and I hit with Elena, and then she disappeared. If I have anything else to save them with, I would do that. Now, this lineup with Akuma, it's the worst score that I got. I will work until I get a better lineup with that. This is why I told you Akuma slowly went down, especially when I was talking to him about him on the tier list, but still one of the best single target units. Now, of course, you need a little bit of support and he will deal even more damages. Look at him go. Absolutely crazy, and the combo meter keeps ramping and ramping up with Chun-Li. This is why we're having more combo meter, and it's an infinite loop until the team dies, or at least she dies. And here we go, we whiffed with her. Try not to whiff with her and try to kick him as much as possible. Now I'm using the Ninja Turtles EX move, but I mistime it here. So if I did, my Chun-Li would survive and she would hit at least the final attack. And that's it, we did all the damages by the end. And the last team, which is the Viper team. Absolutely crazy team. Viper is still OP from the start of the game until now. She does insane amount of damage. Her shields are amazing because when she drops below some certain HP, she gives shields on her 6 out of 6. They don't deplete anymore. And she buffs the entire team defensively, offensively, and she gives you combo meter for every shield triggered, which is absolutely fantastic actually. And here we use the AX move to buff her attack until the end of the battle, and we start with her, then Summer Yang, then Rose, then Viper again, and we use every AX move that we can. And as you see, the combo meter is dropping low. She dropped below 50%. As you see, she got the shield again. She died sadly, but he got the shields and gave us combo meters, so I started with Rose again, and here we go, I started with Rose one more time, and Bison triggered his passive, and this is how we got the highest score for our lineup, and it's really good, top 5 and top 10. If you did the same, probably you'll kick me out. Try to do the same, kick me out. This is why I do these lineups. If you kick me out with my similar lineups, it means you're the better player. Try to do that, get the scores, get all the rewards. And yeah, that was it for the video.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fight.